Eh. Hello, everyone. Oh, in case it's your first time here, my name is Grimoire Index. How you do? I really missed you guys. I forgot to finish my intro. Oh my god. My name is Grimoire Index, and today we are going to be looking into, per request, SCP-9998 and other ones perhaps surrounding that SCP. I hope you all will enjoy, and yeah, I really missed you, all of you, so much. Yeah. Are you ready to dive into some SCPs? Is the music okay? Can you hear it? Hopefully you can hear the music. Do I need to turn it up? Okay. Alrighty. Then let's begin. No, music is good. I could hear it, but it's not overpowering you. Wonderful. Kerrigan Inquiry. SCP-99998. Containment Breach. Final Report of Inquiry. Produced by Dolores Carrington. Inquiry Chair. Ethics Committee. Introduction. For the intention of the O5 Council. 1. I was appointed by you, with the full support of the Ethics Committee, to chair an inquiry into the events occurring concerning SCP-9998 at NBC Studios, Burbank, California, on the 18th of March, 1999. 2. The terms of relevance for the inquiry include, in addition to the aforementioned event, recommendations regarding the Foundation's culture, practices, and containment procedures. Number 3. I have now heard oral evidence from 156 witnesses drawn from both sides of the veil, and examined much written evidence and other documentation either submitted from witnesses or sourced by our agents. 4. In producing this report, I have set out the events preceding, during, and subsequent to what is widely considered to be one of the most significant containment breaches within the history of the Foundation. Item number 9,998. Level 4, Secret. Containment Class, Neutralized. Oh, look at the Emmys! This is the 47th Primetime Emmy Awards on September 10th, 1995. Oh. I get it already. What? So, hold on. Alright, I'm gonna keep reading. SCP-9998 was nominated for an Outstanding Comedy Series. special containment procedures. The normalcy restoration effort has concluded. SCP-9998 has been erased from the collective consciousnesses of humanity, and all efforts have been made to ensure any and all documentation to it is in Foundation custody. Casualties and damage resulting from the finale broadcast have either been repaired, erased, or attributed to non-anomalous causes. A decoy television series by the same name as SCP-9998 has been manufactured to minimize the risk of Mandela-class amnestic failures. All materials relating to 9998 are to be kept in a triple-locked archive at storage site. These items include VHS recordings of seasons 1 through 5, including the series finale, along with publicity material. Whilst viewing seasons 1 through 4 is permissible for researchers assigned to relevant anomalies, Season 5 is not to be viewed without the written consent of SCP-9998's head researcher. The Carrington Inquiry Approach. 28. The interviewing civilian witnesses for the purpose of the inquiry presents complications. Those involved in 9998 display significant trauma and often denial regarding the events of the finale. 29. For the purposes of the inquiry, when attempting to gain information on SCP-9998's production from civilian witnesses, these individuals were dosed with a combination of amnestics to erase memory of overt anomalous activity and memestics to heighten recollection of the time period immediately preceding SCP-9998's finale. 30. Through this, individuals were led to believe that the finale of 9998 had yet to air, and were interviewed under the premise of a media spotlight regarding the series. If necessary, sedatives of various memorist practices were deployed to support this pretense. 31. Following their participation in the inquiry, all civilian witnesses were processed as part of the overarching normalcy restoration effort. Description: SCP-9998 was a studio audience sitcom titled A Prince Among Men, broadcast on American television network NBC between 1994 and 1999 for 5 seasons. The series was created by David Harper, who served as the executive producer and head writer throughout its run, and was produced by NBC Productions in association with Warner Bros. Television Studios. The series revolved around Neil, Prince, a teenager from a wealthy upper class background who, as a punishment for his comedic antics, was sent to his father to live with working class relative in the Lower East Side of New York City. SCP-9998's anomalous attributes are detailed as follows in an overview of its plot and production. Carrington Inquiry. Appendix 14. Civilian Interviews. Interview Subject: 42. Gary Warrington. Row: Executive President of Scripted Content. Yeah, I know what people said about the show to begin with. It was that it was derivative, that they've seen it before, yada yada yada. We caught some heat in those early days from folks saying that it was just the Fresh Prince, but save for your conservative white audience. The scheduling didn't help that one. Now, if we're talking about the studio perspective, maybe they ain't 100% wrong. But not Davy. Oh, there's a little watermark here. Let's read it. Davy Harper. He always believed in what he was making. He acknowledges the similarities, sure, but he wanted to make something different. I asked him where the idea came from. There wasn't anything like the show in Davy's background. Average wealth, nice family, suburbs, you know the drill. He just shrugged and said he always had these characters in his mind, ever since he was a kid. I told the cast this one day, and they started telling me about how Davy told them a completely different story at the wrap-up party for Season 2. He's put away about 3 bottles of wine, and supposedly he starts talking about how he found the outline to the series on the Metro one day. The cast's smart, okay? They're not going to tell the world their golden goose is potentially plagiarized. But they must know they can trust me. They know I won't blab. It's my golden goose, too. I get back to the studio after finding this all out, and I tell Cheyenne. Cheyenne Toby, SCP-9998 writer for Season 1, executive story producer for Seasons 2 through 5. She starts laughing. Says, like shit he did. Claims that Davy got all emotional with her over lunch once. Started talking about how the whole show is based on a play that he studied in lit class at college. A rich lord sends his son to live among the peasants to learn how to rule. That's where the whole 5 lessons came from. So where the idea for the show actually originated from? How's this for an answer? Who the fuck knows? Ask Davy yourself. You'll get a completely new answer. Plot and production. In October 1992, Harper pitched the concept of the series to Gary Warrington, executive producer for NBC's scripted content. Harper and Warrington were acquaintances for their time studying at Hobart and William Smith colleges. With Warrington's support, the concept was bought by NBC Studios as a premise plot. After positive reception from test audiences, a full season was commissioned. The pilot opens with Neil Prince. The pilot opens with Neil Prince arriving at the home of Joseph Broker. Joseph's wife, Jackie, and their 2 children, Alice and Anthony, who are both younger than Neil. Joseph and Jackie are introduced as distant relatives of Neil. The ambiguity of the exact nature of their relationship is a running gag throughout the series. Neil has recently embarrassed his father, a wealthy big business magnate, by performing a magnate is probably how that word is pronounced. By performing a prank whilst his father hosted business associates at their estate for dinner. As punishment for this, Neil's father arranges his son to stay with the Brokers for the foreseeable future. Much of the humor in the first season derives from the juxtaposition of Neil's former and current circumstances. For example, having to share a bedroom with Anthony and contribute to household chores. The series was shot primarily at NBC Studios in Burbank, California. A permanent set was constructed for the Broker family at Stage 5, where all the scenes were shot in front of a live studio audience. The set was maintained for the duration of the series until its destruction in the SCP-9998 incident. The first season, scheduled on the Monday nights in the slot preceding The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, leading both programs to be advertised as the Prince Hour. After ratings were significantly better than expected for the first 2 seasons, primarily due to the positive word of mouth, the final 3 were broadcast in a coveted 7:30 to 8 o'clock slot on Thursday nights prior to Friends. Despite healthy ratings, the 5th season of SCP-9998 was announced as final prior to its airing. This was at the insistence of Harper, which brought him into conflict with studio executives at NBC. All 5 seasons were predominantly episodic, but according to production crew, episodes with individual seasons were intended to be thematically linked. Carrington Inquiry. Appendix 14. Civilian Interviews. Interview. Subject 27. Cheyenne Tovey. Role SCP-9998, writer and executive story producer. So, whenever we'd get together to start plotting a season, you can count on David to rock up to the writer's room with 2 things: pizza and a lesson. Like, he had this goal that the show would be greater than the sum of its parts, you know? Each season would be a lesson for Neil. 5 lessons for him to learn to reunite with his dad. Take the second lesson. We'll learn that Neil is adopted, that his dad isn't his real dad. Not only that, we learn that dad can't have kids on his own, and adopted Neil to have an heir to leave the Empire to. Neil helps Jennifer, a member of the supporting cast, a student at the school that Neil attends, to come to terms with her pregnancy and take care of the baby. And there's a load of B-plot around the broker parents and their kids, and Neil helping strengthen their relationship. That last season's lessons was legacy. You following me? Neil learns why his dad has such high expectations of him. So, Season 1 is about learning your place in the world. What else is out there? Neil is being exposed to things he'd never seen from his penthouse. 2 is the importance of legacy. 3 was growth through pain. You have the whole arc with Neil's bully, the episode with Joseph's surgery. 4 was the importance of culture. Neil teaches the broke kids about music. He sets up the theater club at school. They put on that Renaissance play. The last theme is the weakest in my opinion. It just casts Neil as seeing himself as superior. I tried to push back on that, but no success. We start writing our current season, the all-important final one. You should have heard the arguments Dave had with the big dogs about the fact that he wanted it to stop. I think all of Callie heard, the screams were so loud. Dave rocks up to the room, pizza, but no lesson. It's a secret, he says, that we'll have to wait to the finale. And he alone is writing to find out. Anomalous properties. Following the airing of the final season, all references to the actors who played the primary cast, Neil Prince and the Broker family, have been anomalously modified. Any mention of the actors by name has been modified to be the name of the character they played on SCP-9998. Any information regarding them is unrelated to SCP-9998, such as personal details, federal documents, and prior acting credits, has ceased to exist. It is currently believed that prior to SCP-9998 incident, none of the casts were involved in anomalous activity. Throughout the production and airing of Season 5, several anomalous events occurred in relation to SCP-9998. See Addendum 1. These events culminated in the SCP-9998 incident. See Addendum 2. Kerrigan Inquiry. Appendix 14. Civilian Interview. Interview Subject 22. Lucille Keaton. Role: SCP-9998 Casting Director. A new show is my dream. Far more exciting than a new cast member joining something long-running. And a new show about a family is perfect. Thinking about how these people will interact and what their dynamics are. Does the daughter look more like the dad? Why did the parents choose each other? What's the chemistry? That dream. The dream. I love my job. For Prince Among Men, Neil was obviously the role we had to get just right. We wanted someone unknown, someone that the audience would have never seen before. David Harbour told me how he was set to live in the skids because of a prank gone wrong. This kid keeps making jokes and playing around, and one day his dad decides that he needs to grow up. And that was all I needed. Boyish, charming, and mischievous. But he was also a bit of a snob, right? The dynamic with the family doesn't work otherwise. We got headshots in him. And narrowed it down from there. I saw 40, maybe 50 guys for the role. Then did callbacks for 10, where Gary and David joined. I knew who I was getting for the role before callbacks, though. From the moment Neil walked through that door, he had a star quality to him. I knew Neil would make a great Neil Prince. Language indicative of SCP-9998's anomalous effect, in which the character Neil has subsumed the identity of the actor who played him. And I knew Gary and David would agree. It's the role he was born to play. Addendum 1. SCP-9998 Season 5. The fifth and final season of SCP-9998 was comprised of 24 episodes and aired between September 1998 and May 1999. Following information received from several sources, the Foundation became aware of several incidents with potential anomalous influence occurring during the production of SCP-9998. These are as follows. During filming, cast members repeatedly began to deviate from their scripts. These deviations are often at odds with the tone of both the scene and overall show. So below is the transcript. Excuse me. The below transcript is taken from the filming of Season 5, Episode 14, Neil Wins Big, in which Joseph and Jackie discuss the news that Neil's father will come to visit them with the intent of taking custody. I can't believe our Neil will be leaving us soon. He said that his dad might take him to Giseldo's to celebrate. Giseldo's? That pizzeria that just opened up around the corner? No, Joe. Would it kill you to have a little culture? It's in Italy. She flourishes as she says the country, putting both her hands over her heart. Little Italy? Audience laugh. Joe! Italy! Europe! Jackie playfully smacks Joe across the head. Joseph. Our prince will travel to lands far farther than Europe, and I cannot help but wonder if we have truly prepared him for what's to come, for the pitch-black celestial sea he must traverse. Has his time wallowing with our squalor taught him what his father sought him learn? In truth, I wish to keep him with us. He is far more impressive than my seed. Yet those who fight destiny are just as bound to it as those who embrace it. I am scared, Jacqueline. Scared for what's to come. For us. For him. For us all. Okay. Cut. Joe, what was that? Sorry. I wanted to try something new. Well, don't. Let's take it from the top. Places. Hey, give me a heads up in the future if you're planning to improv. During the filming of episode 16, Neil learns the ropes. What was that indeed? Oh my god. During the filming of episode 16, Neil learned the ropes. A pregnant member of the studio audience in her third trimester miscarriages. There are no previous noted issues regarding the pregnancy. Alejandro Gonzalez, chief lighting technician for all 5 seasons of SCP-9998, vanishes whilst working overtime alone on Stage 5. His whereabouts are still unaccounted for. On 12 separate instances of filming, members of the live audience are escorted off the premises after they are unable to cease laughing at 9998. Once removed from NBC studios, they are able to regain composure. The actor playing Neil Prince, who has previously maintained a meticulously clean-cut public image, makes controversial statements in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter to promote SCP-9998. In a response to a mention of recent homophobic murder, Prince questions the validity of homosexual relationships as they are unable to result in biological children. The comments are buried by Prince's agents, and they interview Prince without them. Rumors begin to circulate about the well-being of David Harper. By numerous accounts, Harper becomes quick to anger with cast and crew, and takes almost exclusive ownership of drafting episode scripts, at one point requesting that site security bar all other writers from the studio. His physical health is subject to speculation. Eyewitness report his abdomen as severely distended, while others report seeing raw, inflamed tumors protruding from underneath Harper's clothing. Carrington Inquiry. Appendix 14. Civilian Interviews. Interview Subject 27. Cheyenne Tovey. Role SCP-9998. Writer and executive story producer. I've been working on the show since day one. I thought Dave and I had a pretty good relationship. I won't be attending the filming of the finale. It's very much the Dave show. He's written it. He's going to direct it. I haven't even seen the script. It's only gone to the cast. Oh, it looks like there's a brief pause. So we'll take this brief pause to chat it up. Are you having fun, everyone? If you wish to dodge the ad check, feel free to become a Twitch Prime member. It is free to you, or you can join us on YouTube. That being said, enjoy the ads, and we'll just kind of chat, I guess. What an interesting SCP. Originally, I thought this was some kind of rip-off of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but it seems that they are concurrent to one another. It's very interesting. But what show is that? That is literally, I guess, the reverse of the Prince of Bel-Air. I don't think I remember. What do you guys think? I'm curious. Any thoughts or suspicions on this SCP? It sounds like the Hangman story got free again, but I know it's not that, right? But it sounds like it's some sort of, the final thing was like some kind of cognito hazard. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm missing something. There seems to be a lot of 5s, right? I didn't really notice that. Now that you mention it, yes, there does seem to be a lot of 5s. I don't. Maybe I have to finish it. Oh, are you aware of the significance of the number 5 in the SCP universe? No, I'm not aware of that. Fisism, perhaps, says YouTube. No, this is a new phenomenon to me. Please explain. This is why I enjoy having you here, guys. But we can certainly look it up later. Good shout. Yes, it is related to 5. Yes, it is. 5 is related to Fisism in SCP, which would be a run rabbit hole to go down. Oh, wow. Also, hi, YouTube chat. Some people call the Fifths worship a space starfish and the 5. Oh, wow. Not number 5. Well, today's live stream was brought to you by the letter 5. I know what I said. I know what I said. They act very much like Scientology, except the aliens they worship are real? Hold on. So you mean to tell me there is a giant 5-sided starfish that is a god in the SCP universe? Did I get that right? That's crazy. But I'm really intrigued. Yep, I forget which SCP number it is, but yeah, okay. Maybe we could do some research on that a little bit afterwards. Maybe, depends on the canon. Yeah, there's like several canons I've noticed. Let me pop my back, because I'm old. Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody. Do not worry, I did not start reading without you. We shall continue right here, right now. Let's go. Dave's scripts and story outlines take an increasingly conservative tone as the show progresses. And look, I'm not best friends with Gloria Allred, but with everything that happened with Clinton, I just thought it was more important that young girls watching the show knew that there was more to being a woman than just sex. They could be seen as more than that. There's a scene where Dave wrote Jackie, where Jackie tells Allie the most important role she'll ever have. The most important role she'll ever have in this life is a wife and a mother. You know, you've probably seen it. Episode 3 of the season. I asked him if we could loosen the language a bit, showcase that there's a little more than just one role model a girl can aspire to. And he blew up. I don't know if it was the stress of writing the final season. Maybe the coke. Probably the coke. But he just screamed in my face. Do you remember what he said to you? I ain't gonna forget. He said if I was so concerned about female role models on the show, he could get Joseph to chop Jackie's limbs off so she could be, and I quote, an immobile brood mother. And then he told me to get the fuck out of his office. Yeah, that was uncomfortable. Following the airing of episode 6, Neil heads to the Renaissance Fair. NBC announced that the series finale would broadcast live. The movie, a joint decision between studio executives and Harper, followed other successful experiments in live episodes, such as the second season of Rock and the season 4 premiere of ER in 1997. This episode would be filmed and broadcast on its usual East Coast slot, resulting in the West Coast broadcast being rescheduled to earlier in the day. Along with this announcement, the following logline was publicized. Neil's time with the brokers has come to an end as his father arrived to return him home. The announcement of the live episode and its summary resulted in intense public interest and media speculation as to the identity of the actor playing Neil's father. Bookkeepers began accepting bets on a wide variety of celebrities, both actors and non-actors. Figures speculated to be participating in the finale. Some ranged from businessman Donald Trump to seasoned sitcom actor Bill Cosby. The announcement also precipitated a significant increase in anomalous activity. All illustrative incidents listed above occurred post-announcement. Carrington Inquiry. Foundation Investigation. 135. In the lead-up to the season the finale of 9998, Foundation staff correctly identified several anomalous incidents relating to the show. These occurred on and off set. 136. The impetus of investigation into SCP-9998 was information received from the Hollywood branch of the FBI's Unusual Incidents Unit, or UIU, GEOL 102. For several years, GEOL 102 has investigated claims of anomalous cult activity in Hollywood and wider entertainment circles linked to the number 5. Due to the perceived prevalence of the number in SCP-9998, 5 seasons, 5 lessons, filmed on Stage 5, primary cast numbers, Goal 102 believed that the rumored cult to have influence over 9998 and informed Foundation contacts of such. 137. Foundation agents, both who initially received the information and those who conducted subsequent investigations, did not demonstrate sufficient skepticisms nor independent validations of the information Goal 102 provided. Whilst Goal 102 is often regarded as a cooperative organization, all information received from our third parties should be challenged and treated with both scrutiny and rigor. I wonder who the king is. Oh boy. The Foundation, overly relying on Goal 102's hypothesis regarding 9998, ultimately led to a misidentification of anomalous parties involved. One hundred and 138. Cultural issues present in the Foundation compounded weaknesses in the initial investigation. SCP-9998 was incorrectly identified as low risk and received inefficient attention and resources. The scale of 9998's eventual containment breach was considered, at best, highly improbable, at worst, impossible. This was best demonstrated by the below extract taken from researcher Tim Watchman's testimony. Full testimony is available in Appendix 13, Foundation Interviews. I know how this is going to sound. In retrospect, it seems negligent, but we're all human. And we exist on both sides of the veil. The wall coming down, the war ending, it really affected us. Things felt safer. Sure, there were still innumerable horrors contained within most Foundation sites, most of which were armed with nuclear fail-safes. But those things were ours. They were under our control. We no longer had to worry about a containment breach arising from a Cold War turning hot. We managed to take custody of one of the most peril weapons on both sides. Had been researching. We were all the more optimistic for the future. For the first time in a while, it felt like things would be okay. (139) Through the course of this inquiry, incidents of complacency were identified in the categorization, investigation, and handling of 32 anomalous items, or phenomena, initially deemed low risk, in addition to 9998. These discoveries were incidental and unintended. The true scale of the issue is much likely much greater. 140. As stated in para 135, the Foundation did identify anomalous incidents relating to the immediate production of 9998. The issues listed in para 136 through 139, though limited the scope of the Foundation investigations, and staff likely failed to identify several more severe anomalous incidents linked to 9998, which have only come to light through this inquiry. These include a 37-year-old woman in Detroit, Michigan, expired due to expiring her own blood arising from a broken jaw. Her husband was arrested and charged with her murder. He claimed his wife's jaw broke to excessive laughing at an episode of SCP-9998. The president of Neil Prince fan club, the actor, not the character, a 26-year-old woman in Boston, Massachusetts, attempts to remove the cloaca from both of her ears with a corkscrew. She is hospitalized and reports she was attempting to silence a laugh track, in which she began to hear constantly. A 23-year-old man in Springfield, Oregon, was discovered completely exsanguinated at his residence in front of his TV. The side was devoid of blood, with the exception of a bloody handprint on the television screen. The Foundation became aware of the incident, and the television was taken into custody on the belief that it was anomalous. After 3 weeks in storage, testing was conducted and concluded that the object was non-anomalous. Autopsy reports placed the man's death occurring during an SCP-9998 broadcast. Two boys, aged 9 and 14, were admitted to St. Luke's Hospital in San Francisco, California, with multiple fractures and bruising. They claim their father, who has no prior history of neglect or mental health issues, has beaten and admonished them both for not being as good of a son as Neil Prince was. 141. This report finds that if the Foundation had correctly and completely gauged the full extent of SCP-9998's anomalous influences and the potential for a scenario on the scale of 9998's incident should have been considered, and the incident potentially prevented from occurring. Addendum 2. SCP-9998's series finale. The following transcript is the final 10 minutes of SCP-9998's series finale. The entirety of this transcript was broadcast across the United States. Begin log. The Brooker household is decorated with balloons and a banner reading, "Time to Return." Neil Prince and the Brooker family wear domino masks. What the? Okay. Anthony. Oh man, is this what a masquerade is? I thought it was an energy drink. The audience laughs. Allie. Oh, brother. The audience laughs. The camera pans to the other side of the room. Neil stands next to Joseph and Jackie. Hey, I just wanted to say before I go, I've had a really swell time here. Oh, sweetheart, that's so kind of you, Jackie says. Joseph, we'll miss you, Neil. You've been the best cousin. Joseph looks at Jackie She shakes her head. Audience laugh. Nephew. Joseph looks at Jackie. She shakes her head. Audience laughs. Second cousin. Joseph looks at Jackie. She shakes her head. Audience laughs. Joseph is silent. Niece? Jackie. Joe! Jackie smacks Joseph across the head. Audience laughs. In the end, it doesn't matter. You're family, and that's what counts. Come here. Joseph. The three hug. The audience fawns. The household phone rings. I'll get it, says Anthony. Anthony begins to run towards the phone. He trips and falls behind a sofa. The audience laughs. I think I broke my window shins. Audience laughs. Your what? You don't have a window shins. Audience laughs. Not anymore, I don't. Audience laughs. Neil walks over to the phone and picks it up. Hello? Yes, this is Neil. Oh. Okay. No. I understand. I'll let them know. Neil hangs up. Sweetheart? Is everything okay? I don't know. My dad's sick. Real sick. He can't come anymore. I'm still going back. But he can't come here. He's sending someone he trusts to collect me instead. Oh, Neil, I'm sorry. Being a parent is the most important thing in the world to me. So I'm sure when I say this, he'd be here if he could. I know. And you'll still be back beside him, in your rightful place soon enough. You can't escape your blood. You can run, but it will always run with you, fueling your futile flight. Speech believed to be anomalous deviation from the script. Oh, brother. Someone knocks on the front door. That must be who my dad sent. Audience whoop. Neil runs to the door and opens it. I thought it would be you. The identity of the new arrival cannot be seen. They linger outside the set, and an outside camera shot. Prince. It would make sense that Dad would send you. Please, come on in. Neil stands aside and gestures to the guest to enter. SCP-701 enters. 701-1 enters through the doorway. The audience is silent. Wait a second. Who is that? I knew it! 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 Y'all can't fool me. I knew exactly. I called it. I knew, I was just sitting there going what? This sounds like some hangman's play mess. I know. I was right. 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 I was correct the entire time. I was right. Oh man, it feels good. Let me finish up the SCP. Carrington Inquiry. Appendix 13, Foundation Interviews. Interview Subject 132. Dr. Lamex Narang, SCP-701 head researcher. You're right. I was! Prior to the finale of SCP-9998, there had not been an SCP-701 event in years. Some of the team wondered aloud if there would ever be another, asked how long it would have to be before the object class was reassessed. And then, another event took place, and it was beamed live to every family in America. Since the incident with Psi-9, we were cautious with exploration of Alagada. Frequent rotations of staff assigned to the anomaly. Incursions took place, but teams were under explicit instructions. Get in and get out as quickly as you can. Stay near the exit doors. Do not venture further in. Maybe we were too wary. It made information gathering difficult. We knew that. Despite the lack of 701 events, nothing seems to have changed or developed. Then, in the weeks prior to the finale, there were marked increased activity. Crowds of entities, inhabitants and visitors alike. We only found one who was willing to talk to us, albeit briefly. They mentioned they were part of a delegation, visiting to attend the coronation. Equipped with hindsight, you could see how the pieces fit together. Yet at the same time, how were we to know that mild anomalous activity on a mediocre U.S. sitcom were connected to these anomalies? We could not. It was impossible. But how I wish it was not. Welcome to the party! The audience is silent. Neil and SCP-701-1 walk towards the center of the set. The majority of the cast do not react to the latter. Jackie's demeanor changes. She appears distressed and removes her mask. Joseph looks SCP-701-1 up and down and turns to Jackie. Those heels are higher than yours. The audience is silent. Now I've seen everything. I can't keep up with these modern trends. The audience is silent. Jack looks off screen towards the camera crew. David, what's going on? This isn't in the script. I don't like... SCP-701-1 snaps towards Jackie. She falls silent. All cast members, bar Neil, freeze in place. Can I get you a drink? Neil walks to the kitchen area and takes out a bottle of beer from the fridge. He walks back to SCP-701 and offers it the beverage. SCP-701-1 does not react. The audience is silent. More of a wine person, huh? A quiet chuckle is heard from a member of the audience. That's fine. I've got a great one I can offer you. Neil walks over to Allie. How about a 16-year-old white? Sound of faint laughter from the audience. Neil produces a corkscrew from his pocket. He inserts it firmly into Allie's submental space, rotating the instrument as he does. Neither Allie nor any other individual react to this. This is the space between the jawbones, located underneath the mouth cavity. Say, how do grapes greet each other? SCP-701-1 does not respond. They go, Chardonnay! Sound of faint laughter from the audience. Neil withdraws the corkscrew and places a wine glass underneath the wound. It begins to fill with blood. Prince, what do you get a Salmier for Valentine's Day? SCP-701-1 does not respond. A bouquet of rosé. The audience laughs. The blood overfloweth. The cup. It runs down Neil's hand, dripping across the set carpet. She moves towards SCP-701-1. To returning home. SCP-701-1. Sorry. Neil hands SCP-701-1 the glass, which it accepts. It holds the glass for the remainder of the episode. Whilst the entity is never seen to drink from the glass, its contents diminish with time. SCP-701-1 emits a noise similar to a northern wind flowing between the pages of a forgotten text. The sound tastes of milk, honey, and never-said things. White silk on a soft neck. It is tutelage. It is the bond between a father and his prodigal son. It is the promise of ascension and knowing your position. Statement flagged for mimetic corruption. I have learned so much being here with you. All of you. With all of you. And there's one thing I've learned above all else. My final lesson. Neil looks directly in the camera. Prince, I am superior to each and every one of you. The audience erupts into wild cheering. Carrington Inquiry. The broadcast. The appearance of 701-1 within SCP-9998's final episode was flagged as anomalous within 3 seconds of the entity's arrival by staff members located in the Broadcast Surveillance Hub, or the BSH. It is noted that the BSH cognito-hazard shielding successfully deployed and prevented staff from being affected by 9998. The decision to shut down a terrestrial television broadcast requires the authorization of 2 officers of a seniority of grade 2V or higher. Authorization must be input digitally into PanoPets, the Foundation's broadcast surveillance system. Of the 2 supervisors of this grade on duty at the time of broadcast, one immediately gave authorization. In the breach of protocol, the second supervisor was not present in the BSH, and thus could not grant authorization. It took 3 minutes and 34 seconds to locate the supervisor in a nearby meeting room, return them to the BSH, and grant authorization. This was discussing a transfer to another department with a colleague. Broadcast shutdown was enacted. As noted in the SCP files, 9998's anomalous properties kept the broadcast from being terminated. The BSH recognized this and immediately escalated containment efforts. In addition to the delays in attempting containment, the identification of the entity known as SCP-701-1 took over 6 minutes to be made. Had this identification occurred sooner, Foundation would have been better positioned to contain subsequent events. At this point within the broadcast, significant anomalous effects began to manifest. Foundation attempts to shut down the show broadcast immediately on SCP-701-1's manifestation, but SCP-9998's anomalous properties resulted in the broadcast continuing unabated. Audiences watching SCP-9998 experience outbreaks of sudden violent behavior. As an illustrative instance is detailed below. Hennessy Bar, Brooklyn, New York. Hey, where Brooklyn at? SCP-9998 finale is broadcast on a large television screen. Patrons sit at tables, drinking, eating, and interacting with one another. The first 20 minutes of the broadcast proceeds as expected. At SCP-701-1, 701-1's arrival, a hushed atmosphere descends upon the bar. While some patrons appear concerned or frightened at the entity's appearance, none leave the premises or cease watching. As the prince and SCP-701 interact, some patrons resume laughter. Unprovoked, a patron attacks the individual next to him with a beer bottle. The bottle shatters. The instigating party proceeds to pick up the broken glass and attempt to feed it to the target. Throughout this interaction, the men laughed. Rioting breaks out in the venue, with viewers randomly attacking anyone in front of them, regardless of their prior relationship. A woman is thrown towards the television screen. The screen shatters. Each individual shard of glass continues to play the broadcast. The violence continues. En masse, the group exit the bar and continue to engage in random opportunistic violence with each other and those they encounter on the street. The empty bar is littered with injured individuals. One corpse is sprawled over the bar. The faucet of a beer tap has been forcibly inserted into the left orbital cavity. Beer overflows outside of the facial orifices. Damn, that's a way to go. Drink up, I guess. Damn. Alright, that was the 2-minute warning for ads. So we'll just give that a quick break. Oh, man. Somebody lost... I think a lot of people lost their jobs today. How did they manage to contain it? Did they manage to contain it? Oh, no. Like, what did they even do? Because everybody watched that. So the implications of this one are pretty terrifying. Yeah, how did they manage to contain this? Like, this would be world ending, right? Oh, excuse me. This would be world ending. So the Hang King's tragedy was contained to just the play before, but now the Hang King's tragedy is, now the Hang King's tragedy is branching out to modern media. Shit. Yeah, like, if someone had the script and was able to adapt it for a modern audience, like, that's crazy. And I think that's exactly what happened. I think it was the script itself. Like when he found the script, I think that was it. But what was it? Yeah, when he found the script, I knew something was up. I was like, okay, ain't no way. I said, this has to be, like, I'm like, okay, what? What SCP story is this about? That caught my attention too. I wasn't sure, and then that weird script break happened. Yeah. The shit-eating grin on my face when 701-1 appeared. Yeah! I was like, oh, I was right! Oh yeah, speaking of which, I was right! I was right. It was me! I was right. I was right. It feels good. Sorry. That was my keyboard. Yeah, that was very wow. I didn't realize, but when I first read this, I didn't expect 701. When the script appeared, when he said that he got it from a script, I was like, oh, it's gotta be like some King in Yellow 701 type, the Hanging Man's type thing. Like, it's definitely that. If we have some time, I have another Hanged King SCP for you about a collection of objects if you're interested, or we can check out the other one I mentioned. Is it related? And I hope you all are enjoying this today, because I'm definitely enjoying this. Despite my yawning and my general tired demeanor, I am thoroughly enjoying it. The other one is not. It is short and sweet and very creepy. Sorry. Depending on where we are with this one, I feel like we're kind of getting into the meat and potatoes of what exactly happened in this one. And, yeah, we'll see. We are... coming up on it. So, not to worry. Have any of y'all been playing Eugenics? I really like watching that. It's such a fun game, you know? Alright, let's continue. Another anomalous compromised group exits a watch party at a bar on the opposite side of the street. The two groups collide. The street is subsumed by violence. Several patrons enter their car and proceed to use their vehicles as weapons, driving through the brawling group. Scenes such as these erupt across the country. The broadcast continues. The broadcast continues as follows. Neil walks to the center of the set. The camera follows him. SCP-701 does not move. It is located at the edge of the shot. Noises are heard from behind the camera, movement and wheezing. A hunched figure walks on set. It is Dave Harper. He speaks, addressing SCP-701-1. I did it. I did what you asked of me. The audience laughs. I wrote. The audience laughs. They witnessed. The audience laughs. An heir for the sterile king. Harper unbuttons his shirt. The entirety of his upper body is subsumed by a large mass of inflamed tissue. He turns to face the prince. The Brooker family cast members speak in unison. With this fool's blood we do ordain. SCP-701-1 raises its index finger of its left hand. The mass of tissue bursts, covering Prince with blood. Harper falls to the floor, dead. Audience laughter registers new peak decibels. The laughter continues uninterrupted for the rest of the broadcast. O5 authorized use of Foundation satellite weaponry to neutralize the broadcast and enact containment. Satellite VX Omega startup initiated. The blood covering Prince steams and dissolves his clothes, with the sole exception of the masquerade mask. SCP-701-1 begins to slowly rotate its index finger. The skin at the prince's right foot is degloved. The skin peels upwards, flaying the prince's leg before detaching. The process repeats across the prince's body, and he is quickly flayed, revealing the musculature and bone beneath. He does not react to this process. The skin floats behind him in large strips. Joseph, and to our king, who could not sire, we provide a tribute. We provide a child. Prince falls backwards, being caught by his skin. The strips of skin move upwards into the air, carrying Prince. He is still in full view of the camera. Strike coordinates acquired. The audience's laughter continues to intensify. Recovered CCTV footage reveals that they have begun engaging in flagellation of themselves and those around them. This does not halt the laughter. What is already born cannot be born wrong. But what is born can, on rope, be strung. 6 bone-like protrusions erupt from the prince's skull. They break through the skull and muscle, emerging directly upwards. Blood drips from the prince's flayed body onto the seat below, raised in secret among the cattle. Once you were, will become your chattel. The 4 broker family cast members reach behind their back and each retrieve what to be an antique dagger. These daggers are not visible in any other prior shot. Audience members who have fragilated the skin off their bodies proceed to gouge out their eyes. The Hang King waits for your return. The pact of skin is recognized. As Ali speaks, blood sprays across the set on account of the injuries previously inflicted. Each cast member disembowels himself with their dagger. Their intestines agate their body and spill onto the floor, whooping and hollering from the audience. The cast member begin to speak in unison, and with this, orbital strike readiness at 80%. The intestines proceed to tie themselves in one continuous length of an organ. One end floats upwards onto the rafters of the set, out of shot. Our blood. The other end of the rope of intestines ties itself around the prince's neck. The orbital strike readiness at 90%. We ordain the hanged prince. SCP-701-1 closes its hand into a fist. The length of flayed skin supporting the prince ceases levitating. Orbital strike readiness at 98%. The prince dropped. Orbital strike initiated. The entire set is obliterated by Foundation intervention. For a second, the broadcast displays a bright white light before ceasing. Anomalous phenomena deemed to have ceased. Following the strike, Foundation agents were dispatched to the scene to investigate. Forensic analysis of bone dust in the rubble accounted for the bodies of 96 of the audience and crew, 4 Brooker cast members, and David Harper. No biological material attributed to Neil Prince was recovered. Its whereabouts are unknown. SCP-9998-1 designation pending. Carrington Inquiry. Conclusions and findings. The broadcasts of SCP-9998 led to a total of redacted on 05 authority casualties in the United States. The broadcasts resulted in significant deviation from normalcy Warning signs were missed, procedures were not followed, and in this instance, Foundation failed in its mission of containing the anomalous. Whilst the satellite of NVX Omega resulted in the cessation of anomalous phenomena, the activation time was outside of the acceptable parameters. This was determined to be the result of a containment breach at the site of the operation. Several staff members, even including those with key knowledge of the satellite array operation, were compromised following a screening of SCP-9998's finale in the recreation room. Despite concerns being raised regarding television programs linked to the anomalous, these were not distributed to the leadership or security of any Foundation site. This was due to SCP-9998 not receiving an official SCP designation until after the finale's broadcast. This led to SCP-9998's finale's viewing parties held in redacted on O5 Authority sites. Ultimately, to achieve containment, in addition to the measures listed in the database containment procedure, the decision was made to enact redacted on O5 Authority. The challenges posed in doing so resulted in it has been deemed acceptable to establish this as an element of a new baseline reality. It is unknown how many more times such a procedure can be enacted. Current estimates stand at O5 Council have voted to accept the findings of this report, select recommendations, and commit to transparency throughout the process on the account of recommendations are made on the basis of this report are detailed in Appendix 6. That's weird. Carrington Inquiry. Appendix 14. Civilian Interviews. Gary Warrington, Executive Producer of Scripted Content. It's a shame, really. I was pissed when Davey told me, but at the end of the day, I gotta respect the guy and his choices. We'll find something else. We always do. I'm not sure he will, though. The way Davey talks about this show, it's like he has no other interest in other content. A real one and done. What are you expecting for the finale? Big numbers. Records broken. What are you expecting from the story? What I'm expecting, I hear there's some kind of writer's wager on what they think the final lesson will be. Davey's had complete control over the show for nearly 5 years. He took over writing the finale because he wants everything to be done just right. The writers thought that Davey could work that into the lesson. Diligence. Doing things the right way. The thing is, I think there's a part which Davey doesn't get. You say diligence. Some people might say control freak. Sure, he can control the writer's room. It's his name at the top of the credits. He can step away from the show and retire. But you can't control everything. You're gonna fail if you try. He's created this thing. It's out of the box now. Hell, it's on the box. When something grows beyond you, that's when you lose control. He's created this. Sure, this series is getting a finale, but who says there won't be another? Spin-offs, reboots, cameo appearances. I'm sure this is the last time you'll see Prince. 'Cause here's the thing. If there's people watching, we've got no choice but to put on a show. Wow. And that was SCP-9998. Did you all have fun? Oh my goodness, that was so cool. I genuinely had a good time. Like, that was a lot of fun. Sorry, I was grabbing one of these little jelly blocks I bought for ASMR, for one of the ASMR days. I'm really excited to play with these with you guys. Oh my goodness. I may actually set up my, I may actually go get my nails done. So that I can play with them on camera for you guys, but we'll see. So yeah, that's how they contained it. Orbital strike and desperate rewriting of reality. I know that's right. Just scribble that out. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Don't look over here. It didn't happen. Okay. Let us read one of the stories attached. Or rather, yeah, let's read one of the stories attached, and then we can read that short and sweet SCP. What is this Pact of the Skin? Oh, this is a long one. This is a long one. There was one earlier. Oh, wow. SCP-2732. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2732 is to be kept at storage site in a standard large object containment chamber. SCP-2732-1 is to be stored separately in a security safe with controlled heat and humidity due to its delicate nature. SCP-2732-D2D instances are to be kept in a cold storage chamber. Ooh. Description: SCP-2732 is a wooden Beijing opera stage constructed within the last century. SCP-2732 lacks a backstage area or stairs. SCP-3732-1 is a Ming Dynasty era booklet containing 7 entries, all different accounts of the same event. When a human reads out a whole entry from SCP-2732-1 while standing within a 60-meter radius of SCP-2732, SCP-2732-1 instances, along with the stage props required, will manifest on stage. SCP-2732-2 instances are autonomous, mostly wooden mannequins with no facial feature, wearing Beijing opera costumes and facial makeup. SCP-2732-2 instances will engage in a performance. Note: the performance does not match the common practices of the Beijing opera, as costumes and facial makeup are often relegated to SCP-2332's roles. SCP-2732 instances will engage in a performance that seems to correspond to the entry read, accompanied by music with no apparent source. See addendum for specifics and exceptions. When a human being enters SCP-2732, the performance will halt, with all SCP-2732-2 instances ceasing all motions. SCP-2732-2 instances and props removed at this time will behave like ordinary objects. The performance will resume after all taken objects from SCP-2732 are returned and all human subjects have left the stage. After the performance, SCP-2732-2 instances and stage props will disappear, except for the instance generated by Entry 7. See addendum for more information. Addendum. The following is the content of SCP-2732-1 and the specifics of the SCP-2732-2 performance corresponding to each entry. The King Ajaya was hanged dead. Performance log. 2732-2-A first appears in this entry. The instance wears the costume of a Chinese emperor with no facial makeup. Low drumming sound begins. SCP-2332-2-A appears hanged from the ceiling with white silk. The instance twitches for 15 minutes. End log. Back then, in the kingdom of Ajaya, the king of the land was hanged, but did not die. The people there wore masks. A Tohyuu melody plays. This is a Chinese instrument with 2 strings, sometimes called a Chinese violin. SCP-2732-2A walks from right side to the middle, hangs itself with white silk, and starts twitching. SCP-2732-2 instances appear on stage, holding white wooden masks in front of their faces. Note, the instance's facial makeup is still present. Instances began to surround SCP-2732-2A until a circle is formed. A long gong is heard. In the kingdom of Ajaya, the king was hanged but did not die. The serpent people feared him and burnt his city. They put a mask on him before burying him. And a Tohyuu melody plays. 2A walks from right to middle, hangs itself with white silk and starts twitching. 3. SCP-2732-2 instances appear on the right, one holding a wooden white mask. The instance's legs are replaced by wooden snake tails, capable of moving, but unable of supporting bodies. Instances crawl to the middle, then slump to the floor. A long gong strike is heard, and the Tohyuu melody intensifies. In the kingdom of Ajaya, there was a king who hanged himself in the middle of court. The whole country celebrated this and exposed his body in the wild. The next day, the king's emissary came. It had no face, but laughed menacingly. The people were greatly shocked and regarded it as the likes of gods and monsters. They offered blood sacrifices to the being. SCP-2732-2A walks from right side to the middle, hangs itself with white silk, and begins twitching. A joyous chorus starts. SCP-2732 instances appear on the right. SCP-2732 instances walk in the middle and start tearing at SCP-2732-2A until the instance falls to the floor. The instances disregard SCP-2732-2A and return to the left. The chorus stops, and a scratching sound is heard. SCP-2732-2B enters from the left. All other instances walk towards SCP-2732-2B and kneel down. This lasts for 5 minutes. That day, the Kingdom of Ajaya trapped their king in his court. The king asked his servant for a plan. The servant said, "We must fight to the death." Hence, white silk was prepared. The king said, "I will take their souls." He hanged himself in the court, and the servant died as well. The whole country celebrated. The next day, the king's emissary came. It had no face, and after engaging, the people deemed that it was not human. They questioned the being. It laughed menacingly and answered, "You should offer it blood sacrifice." The ministers understood. "We will sacrifice to the king." And all the people said, "Blood to the king." SCP-2732, 2A, and C enters from the right, and a Tohyuu melody plays, with a noticeably higher pitch of that of other entries. SCP-2732, 2C presents a piece of white silk to SCP-2732-A. SCP-2732-A takes the white silk, hangs itself, and starts twitching. As SCP-2732-2A is hanged, SCP-2732-2C slumps to the floor. The melody stops and a scratching sound is heard. SCP-2732-2B enters from the left, while 15 other SCP-2732-2 instances enter from the right. The 15 instances walk towards SCP-2732-2B and kneel down. This lasts for 5 minutes. That day, the Kingdom of Ajaya trapped their king in the wild. The king asked for his servant for a plan. The servant said, "We should summon the gods." A moment later, the dragon came. The dragon is the mother god. She said, "One must die so that he can return." The 6 beasts that served under the dragon said, "You should sacrifice all with blood." The king hence used the servant as sacrifice. Good. The king then hanged himself with white silk. The whole country celebrated. The next day the god's emissary came. It was one of the 6 beasts. The emissary was round and had no face, and bore 6 wings on its back. They questioned the being, and it laughed menacingly. "You should offer it blood sacrifice." The ministers then understood and said, "We will sacrifice to the king, the beasts, and the dragon." And its people all said, all the blood to the king. Performance log. SCP-2732, 2A and C enter from the right. SCP-2732, 2A and C stop in the middle and kneel towards the left. SCP-2732-2 instances enter from the left, in a line, holding a rod supporting a large piece of animal meat. The meat is a mixture of cow and pig meat, crudely bound together by string to resemble a snake, a pair of holes on the front end. The instances begin to perform in a similar manner of that to the Chinese dragon dance. Upon reaching SCP-2732-A and C, the instances throw the meat onto the floor. A loud gong is heard. SCP-2732-2 instance in front hands a piece of white silk to SCP-2732-A, while the other 6 instances began to tear at SCP-2732-2C. SCP-2732-2A takes the white silk, hangs itself, and starts twitching. The other 7 instances walk back to the left and vanish. A wooden ball, painted black, 2 meters in diameter, rolls from the left. 15 2732-2 instances enter from the right. The instances rush towards the ball and hold it for 5 minutes. Oh, welcome in. It's great to see you. Oh, it looks like I get a break. Welcome in, welcome in. I hope you all are enjoying the SCPs tonight. We just finished up 9998. And that was a trip, and I'm glad I was right. I was right. I'm not gonna let that go. I feel like I love the Hang King stuff. We need to explore Alagata at some point. Yeah, I really like this. This is cool. Like, I can't believe it was adapted into a Beijing opera at some point. Like, the Hanged King is crazy. He said, "It's me. I'm happening, regardless of what it's occurring. Regardless of what you want." Do you guys want to hear? I know it's not ASMR day, but did you guys want to hear this? Isn't that interesting? Oh man, I'm gonna have so much fun on Friday. We're gonna build so many little things. I've been playing with them. So I got those jelly blocks to kind of mess with. So I think I got the ones that are... If I had an infinite amount of money, I would absolutely put together and hire a company to put on a performance of the play. No! 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 Why would you do that? Like, I feel like the liability would be too much. No, I feel like the liability would be too much. Not for real. Nah, the liability would be too much. Man. Because if something went wrong, I feel like if anything... Oh, man. He about to be opera ghosted. Not for real, jeez. Man. That's like playing with fire right there. I'm gonna throw the I'm gonna create the hangman's play. What? What? It's like performing the King in Yellow. Why would you do that? Why would you perform that? Don't do it. Oh my goodness, I need to... The only real audience is the high seats, watching all the front row seats suddenly go nuts. No! Do you imagine just the sheer amount of... Hear me out. Just imagine the sheer amount of, liability the play company would have to deal with. Like, imagine, the big brawl... a big brawl, happens, and it's somehow linked to the play company. Like, how much money... You would have to spend so much money on hospital bills alone. It would be funny, though. Yeah, it would be. It would be very funny. But it would be very, very costly. As I said, infinite money. Oh man, the London Theatre presents the Hanged King's play. Oh my gosh. That being said, are you guys enjoying today? I had a lot of fun reading that. Can you tell I'm not as tired as I was before? I am quite tired still, but it's okay. It's because I have you guys. Woo! We're fighters. Yes. Ooh. For what? More realistically, a recording of the play would be so much more like a I would like a what's the word? I would really like a... Welcome back, everyone. Hi. I would really like an analog horror style. Something like that, like an analog horror take on the Hanged King's play would be so cool, and it could be done in a similar way to the way the King in Yellow is done, like interview style, where different people will talk about how they felt and whatnot, and it slowly devolves into chaos as the play continues. I think it's something... Oh man, that sounds really cool. Is that a thing? I don't know if it's a thing, but if it's not a thing, I should make it a thing, right? I think I should make it a thing. I'm learning 3D modeling. I should make it a thing. It's gonna look like it may look like a PlayStation. It may look like a PlayStation 1 game, but you know what? That's just the limitation that I have. I'm sorry. I mean, it'll look cool. I mean, I could try. Would y'all like that? Would you like me to use my creativity in a good way? I mean, aside from being yours truly, I could definitely use my creativity in a good way. Oh hell yeah, the style of interviews with PS1 graphics? I'd watch the fuck out of that. Are you kidding me? That's so cool. Well, I don't want to overpromise, but I could definitely see where my cards take me. definitely could see where my cards would take me for that. If it doesn't already exist, I'd help you make that absolutely. Oh, of course. Let me crack my back, and then let's continue with the thing. Entry number 7. That day, the kingdom of Vijaya trapped their king. The king hanged himself and died. The whole country celebrated this and exposed his body to the wild. 3 days later, the king's emissary, illegible. Ink was spilled onto the page, rendering the last paragraph illegible. However, reading the last legible part is enough to trigger the event. SCP-2732-2D only appears in this entry, and unlike other instances, it doesn't disappear afterwards. The instance is roughly humanoid figure, lacking limbs, wrapped in black silk. SCP-2732-2D appears in the middle of the stage. The instance remains mostly still, but always turns to face the human subject who initiated the performance. No background music is present. An examination shows that under the black silk, SCP-2732 is composed of animal meat, considered similar to that which would appear in Entry 6's performance, embedded with the instance's face. Embedded within the instance's face, a pair of human eyeballs can be found. Currently, all 5 pair collected have identical DNA, indicating a male of Han ethnicity. And that was SCP-2732. Alright, one last ride. Let me find us that SCP I was looking at earlier. Is it, this one? Is it, 6502? 6502? I think this one is completely different, but it was also by request. So, also, if you guys have requests for SCPs, please definitely let me know. I am here every Sunday, unless I'm tired. unless I'm a sleepy deepy bean and I have something to do that day. So, don't worry, I will definitely let y'all know. YouTube, if you want to know about it, or at least want to know what is up with me, please feel free to join our Discord. You can find it in my link tree, or the plethora of links that I need to fix later. Plethora? Plethora. What is going on? SCP-6502. Level 3 Confidential. Containment Class Esoteric. Secondary Class Familial. Disruption Class VLAN. Risk Class Caution. SCP Containment procedures. To maximize available space, personnel is interred within the grounds of SCP-6502 must be alive at the time of their burial. New interments must be approved by the lead researcher assigned to the project, currently Dr. Robert Campbell. Communications and listening devices have been installed throughout the first several feet of SCP-6502's topsoil. Staff should maintain regular communication with interred subjects until such a time as the subject's physiology no longer allows for it. Subjects has more than proven cooperative if informed that the Foundation is seeking for a way to free them from SCP-6502, but is unable to do so at present. This story should be maintained by all staff when speaking to the interred. Standard measures are permitted to ensure the comfort of buried subjects. However, as a long-term comfort was likely to be achieved, unreasonable expenses will be denied by the Office of Procurement. Big yawn. Description: SCP-6502 is Hardwick Cemetery, located in Waverly Falls, MA. For unknown reason, humans buried alive within the cemetery are unable to die. While subjects' bodies undergo the typical decomposition process, their mental faculties and higher intelligence remain intact, even past the point of total bodily decay, as long as they are interred. This applies only to those who are buried alive. Corpses buried under the cemetery show no signs of further life. Additionally, the anomaly only impacts those buried in traditional coffins and covered over with at least 6 feet of natural soil from cemetery grounds. Attempts to construct subterranean facilities benefiting from SCP's 6502's preservation effects have failed, as attempts to preserve subjects via interment in above-ground mausoleums. Since 2009, the Foundation has used Hardwick Cemetery as a medical facility for the preservation of high-value staff and prisoners. Currently, there are 46 interred alive within the anomalous grounds, including 31 former Foundation staff members, 9 members of other groups of interest, and 6 civilians found buried within the cemetery prior to Foundation acquisition. Discovery. The Foundation contained SCP-6502 after reports of unexplained sounds and vibration drew an agent's attention in 1994. Oof. Can you tell I'm tired? The Foundation contained SCP-6502 after reports of unexplained sounds and vibrations drew an agent's attention in 1994. Multiple individuals affected by the anomaly were later discovered, the oldest of whom had been buried in a family plot since the 18th of April, 1951. Further investigation found an unlicensed coroner had been practicing in the nearby city of Waverly Falls since the 1950s, resulting in several inadvertent live burials throughout the 20th century. Addendum. Sample case. Forward. Dr. Ava Bradley, a Foundation memeticist and expert containment specialist, was stricken with a lethal infohazardous infection on the 9th of September, 2018. As Dr. Bradley's death would break containment protocols for multiple high-risk objects, her body was interred within SCP-6502. Interactions between Foundation staff and Dr. Bradley, now designated SCP-6502-64 are now logged below for educational purposes. The 9th of September, 2018, 1931. Begin log. Dr. Bradley, can you hear me? Robert? Yes, that's right. How do you feel? Where am I? You're being held in a special medical facility until we can find a treatment for your condition. What kind of facility? Don't worry about that. Everything is going to... Robert, where am I? What have you done? Why can't I move my body at all? Ava, please listen to me. It's better if you don't worry about this for the time being. We have a staff of researchers working around the clock to fix Robert Campbell. I am your superior, and you will tell me where I am. You're in a safe place. That's all I can say for now. This is Hardwick, isn't it? Oh, God. It's only a temporary measure. Get me out of here, Robert. Get me out of this box. Please, you have to get me out. Ava, we're doing everything we can. As soon as we make sure you'll survive, we'll have you dug up and you won't find a cure. We both know it. I worked for 12 years on it and everything failed. I'm sorry, Ava. Get me out. Please. Please. I can't move. I can't. Conversation ends. SCP 6501 6502-46 can be heard sobbing quietly from within SCP-6502. End log. Afterward, SCP-6502-46 talks to itself intermittently for a period of 7 hours after this interaction, intersped with further pleas for release. At the direction of Site Command, Dr. Campbell did not reply. September 2018. 11:02. Begin log. Redacted. I know you want answers, Robert. You've always been curious. I've seen your search logs. I could tell you everything. Just get me out. We're working on figuring out how to protect you, Ava. You'll have to bear with us. We've been over this. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. You overbearing, weak little... I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I've always admired you, Robert. You're dedicated, compassionate. We need more people like you. Please, just let me go. I know you want to help me. Anything you want. Fucking anything, you hear me? I'll promote you. I'll recommend you to the O5s. I'll give you full redacted access to... Please. Help me. The 20th of September, 2018. Is it 21? Is it 2200 hours and 20 minutes? Subterranean microphones capture repeated clawing and scratching noises from SCP 6502's 46's coffin. 6502's-46 moans softly. Please, anyone. My hands. My hands. Scratching continues for several more hours. Then it falls silent. It does not resume again. The 28th of September, 2018, 3:50. When I was a kid, we took vacations to Seaside every summer. I remember the beach there vividly. It was near Portland, about an hour south. The city was sunny and the air was clean, with just a smidgen of a bite to it even in July. We would spend hours outdoors, nothing but the water and the sky and the sand, on and on forever. It was on one of those trips I swam out much deeper than I was supposed to go. It was just darkness all around me, and my feet couldn't touch. I screamed for help, and my dad heard me from the shore. He swam so fast all the way out to me. I snuggled up to his arms while he carried me back. That night, my mom made bulgogi and rice, and the perfect fried eggs with oyster sauce and fresh bok choy. It has been my favorite since. Tastes like home. I don't remember what breathing feels like. February 9th, 2019, 7:16. Dr. Bradley, Ava, we need to talk to you about one of your projects. Can you hear me? David? David Bradley, SCP 5602's-46's husband of 23 years, deceased as the 11th of June 2002. Ava, it's Robert Qandle. Ava, it's Robert Campbell. David isn't here right now. David, please, it's so dark. Ava, I need to talk to you about Redacted. I can't see. Please try to focus. David? I can't think. I can't feel anything. Where am I? Dr. Campbell is advised to wait for a more lucid interaction with SCP 6502-46. The conversation is terminated. Who's there? David, are you still there? I can't see you. I can't see. May 2019. 1:16. The coffin is collapsing. Bugs. SCP 6502-46 cries continuously for the next 36 hours. End log. Well, that was something. Why what? Why that one? Like, that was horrible. Why? Can we go back to the Hanged King? Like, I feel terrible now. What? That was off. What a way to go, man. I feel so bad. I feel so bad for her. She's stuck there. The bugs were the worst part, but the implication that her hands rotted off was pretty gnarly too. Like, she literally felt herself decompose until she was nothing. What a way to go. That's the problem. She's not gone. I mean, yeah, she's not gone. Like, it's like the Lich King, even in death you will serve even in death you will serve the SCP organization. You will never die. That is so cruel though. What? It brings up a very interesting dilemma though. Like, it is a very interesting dilemma that I really like that the SCP organization in its whole encompasses. Like, what is the cost of keeping everyone safe? It was like, what happens after, but the person is still able to talk and is alive? Yeah, just, they're like a skeleton in there, you know, speaking telepathically, I guess? I don't know. Does she still have, like, nerve endings? It's a brilliant critique of adhering to policy above everything else. When a person is in this state, there is zero way a person is of use. They're just burying them and literally leaving them to rot when they're not of use. Like, they're like a computer. They're like a filing system. At a certain point, a person buried there will not be able to speak or even think coherently. Yeah, like, what? Skelepathy. I like that. But the thing is that, yeah, like, if they're not even going to be able to think after a certain point, like, how quickly would you go insane? Like, think about that. How quickly, like, if you were confined into, like, a coffin for the rest of your existence, and you essentially had to not watch but feel your body die around you, you could do absolutely nothing. You just die in there, and you're still present, you're still there. Like, I would hate the SCP organization with all I had, man. I would want to figure out if there was some way that I could get a signal out to whomever. I want to summon the big starfish guy. Let's go. King Starfish. There's another truly horrifying SCP that is very reminiscent of, I'm trying to find it now for, I assume, Another Day. Oh yes, Another Day is definitely correct. As I meander over here to my Twitch thingy. Okay. Let's see. Oh boy. Let's go ahead and visit. Let's go ahead and visit Chai Maria. Looks like they're watching Hell's Kitchen. I think that will be a very fun and chaotic thing. And yeah, let's go see what they're up to. It's raid time. Be kind, everyone, and be good to one another. And as for you two, have a wonderful night, you guys. All of you have a wonderful night. But let's go together. Good night. And once again, good night, you two.